Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Griffin, Indiana. It is mid-autumn, and we go from one harvest to another. But this time, it's our harvest. Our beans are ready. So it is time. We need to, as I said in Monday's video, we need to empty out the barley, because we no longer have a free grain bin. So we need to empty out the barley and get that sold this morning. We'll be taking a little bit of a hit off of the best price possible, but it's all good. That way we can put our beans in this first bin. We've already got our output auger set up. Just going to go ahead and get our input auger set up here. Then we'll see what we can get for our barley. Help pad our bank account a bit more. So, if you're wondering, how many bales did we get off of all of our full cut grass? Well, the answer is 180 some. I don't remember if it's 183 or 188, but it was 180 some number. So that is a bit more, for sure, than what we had off of the 2/3 growth. Is it a lot more? I don't think so, because our trailer holds 24 bales. And we had, I think I counted 7 full loads over along the fence. So that would be 4, 8 would be 200. 7 would be 170. Well, not really 174, but 170-ish. There we go. That's good. So we definitely got more bales, but did we get an exorbitantly large number more? I don't think so. So I think that's kind of validation that we really don't need to strive for 100% growth. It's the way I've been normally operating for a fair bit of time now with seasons, is getting to 2/3 growth is good enough for me. The extra growth stage adds more, but not a whole lot more. And the fact is that if you wait to get full growth, you may not get as many possible cuts off of the grass as you would if you just cut it at 2/3. You pretty routinely get 2 cuts if you cut it at 2/3. If you cut it at full growth, you may not get 2 cuts. Or you may run into that situation that we had in year 2, where for whatever reason the grass just didn't grow right initially. And I think it was because maybe we cut it too late into autumn and it didn't have a chance to rebound well. And then as a result, it was kind of stunted early in the year, and then it took a fair bit of time to get growing, and by the time it did get growing, all we got was 1 cut. All right, so we've got 1 load and a little bit of barley in this bin. Again, the way the brand auger works is we have to come up to it, enter it, then we fill that, and then that would then empty into our trailer just because we're underneath of it. The brand auger itself has a capacity of 10,000 liters. A bit much, but at any rate. So Posey County Co-op is the best place. The sell point out of town is climbing, but we don't necessarily have the luxury of just letting it sit here, because we're going to need our trailer, obviously, to haul our beans. So let's count here. We got 1 load, 2 loads, 3, 4, sorry, 5. Okay, we got 5 full stacks at 124 each. So it'll be 96, 120, 21-ish, and then a few more, so we'll say 125 bales. So we got another 50. So that is a okay addition. So yeah, we're gonna have a lot of silage bales to sell, which is gonna be good. It's gonna help pad our bank account back up there. This video is brought to you by Paul Nadon Jr. Thank you for being a farm baron. See, the 9 o'clock train is crossing the railroad crossing through town, so we don't have to worry about waiting on it. Good timing on that regard. Still a little hazy down here. Cool 58 degrees this morning. You can definitely tell autumn is in full swing with the color change on the trees and the cooler weather in the morning. Remember, we got this barley off of our new field that we bought when we sold field 21. So now we have field 8, which is a bit closer to the farm, a bit easier to farm at. So the money we earn off of this barley will help offset the cost of buying that land for sure. And then the goal for today is, well, just to get our beans off the ground, or out of the field. Maybe we'll see if we can't run some fertilizing contracts after we get the harvest done. There we go. $9,000. Almost $10,000. Probably by the time we get the last dredges down here, we'll probably have made around 12,000. 12,500. So that's not too bad. We got about $2,000 for that last little dredge of barley. And I thought we'd start down here on field 8. And I've got our tractor and trailer parked over there by the barn. I thought, what the hey, let's take a nice little stroll through the woods here and see if we can't make our way back to the farm through this nice little nature path. Nature paths are all over this map. If you haven't had an opportunity to take your own little stroll through the nature paths, I would encourage you to do so. Really great little details like this, which really make maps like Griffin, Indiana, really stand apart from other maps that are just kind of slapped together, if you will. Little bits of attention to detail. Now, I think this might end up dropping us off up above field 1, which is our other soybean field. But that's all good. Just taking a quick stroll back to the farm so we can get our harvester and header. And then get started with our harvest. Let's pull out the map real quick, see where we are. Oh, we're doing pretty good. We're getting back toward the farm. Not too bad of a walk at all. But we should be able to maybe cut through the trees here. And, yeah, right there you can see our bins. Just cut through the trees. And here we are, back at our farm. Nice little walk. I think we'll leave the Brant auger up. There's no real need to take it down. And then let's just see. Do we have... Oh, yeah, we've got a whole lot of canola left. I think we'll probably put canola back in the field after we get our beans out. Since we already have all of that seed, we didn't really go through... We bought 2 pallets, and we didn't even go through one whole pallet when we planted our crop last year, so... We've got plenty, and hopefully the seed will still be relatively sound after being in the bags for a year. I tell you, reversing cameras would be so nice. Don't you think? Reversing cameras would be great for things like this. Maybe one day we'll have something like that base game, or a handy modder will come up with the ability to have a reversing type camera. I have to say, a nice little piece of land that I wouldn't mind picking up if the opportunity presented itself, meaning if we happen to have earned enough money to afford it before we are done here on Griffin, would be to buy Field 7 right here beside Field 8. It's a fairly nice plot of land. It's narrow and deep. The land goes back into the woods a little bit, but it is mostly nice, good farmland. Right here beside Field 8. See it right there. Convenient to the farm. Fairly easy to farm also, the land that is. Although right now they are asking $230,000 for that particular plot of land. A little rich for sure. And I just don't think we're gonna maybe be able to get that type of money built up between now and our end of gameplay, which is just 5 weeks away at this point. We're in the middle of mid-autumn, so we've got all of winter, so that's week 1, and then we have all of year 4, so that is 4 weeks for spring, summer, autumn, and winter. So we are, in essence, 5.5 weeks from the conclusion of our series here on Griffin, Indiana. We've been running through this series for 2.5 months now. Nearly 3 months once we finish up winter on year 3. It's hard to believe maybe that we have been playing Griffin for that long, but indeed we have, because we have been able to keep 1 video per day, per game day, and there's 3 game days per season. So that means each week is its own season. It's also meant that we've had a little bit of repetitivity here. You know, it's a little bit of predictability at this point that that probably early autumn we're going to be harvesting, early summer we're going to be harvesting. But that is life of a farmer, really. You get into a groove, and that's basically how you do things. Not a lot of variability. We've changed our crops up a little bit, but farmers tend to get into a groove and they farm what they can with the equipment that they have. They're not apt to be changing up a massive amount of stuff every year just to do something a little bit different. Now, once this field is done, we will need to come in here with our soil sampler and sample this soil. If you remember, we bought this field ready to harvest barley. And we harvested the barley, collected the straw, and then immediately turned around and put beans in it. We did not have an opportunity to do any soil drilling to discover the type of soil we have and the needs of the soil. So we're going to have to do that today after harvest. But it looks so far, according to our HUD down there, that we are getting exceptional yield off of this field, which is good to see. Good to see. And we'll just have to see what kind of soil we have underneath there here in a little bit. I have to say, I think yield is down a little bit from when we owned Field 21. Field 8 is clearly smaller as far as a field size. It did cost more money. Probably wasn't the most wise decision, simply from the grounds of making money. But there are other decisions in play. Obviously, one of them was the proximity to the farm and travel time and so forth. There's a fair bit of the land is forest or the pond, and well, pond is awful nice to look at, that is for sure. But we are basically sitting here at our first trailer load of beans, and we have fully harvested Field 8, and we've got a good chunk of, well, what is that, Field 32 harvested at this point. So it looks like, all right, let me fix this. There we go. Just wasn't quite lined up. The two backhoe augers weren't quite lined up, but now we're ready. Now we're good to go. So yeah, I think we're gonna be down on yield. Maybe we might only have about maybe 70,000 liters of soybeans, as opposed to the closer 90,000 liters we would have had if we were working Field 21. But field's much closer, it's a bit more convenient, less travel time, and ultimately it's going to give us more time to do other things. So back to the grind. And we have finally gotten all of our beans harvested, so we're going to end up with 84,110 liters of beans. This is our third load. Not quite a full load. So I think we're short a little bit. We're down a little bit of beans compared to what we would have had if we kept Field 21. But overall, I definitely like that decision to swap out Field 21 for Field 28. Not regretting it whatsoever. Now, the final thing we need to get done today is to scan Field 8 and figure out what type of soil Field 8 has and what it needs. Because on Friday, what we're going to do is basically bring Field 8 up to snuff with respect to lime, and we'll probably toss some lime on our other fields just to use up the lime that's there, and then we will look at getting canola back in the ground before winter, because we want to, once again, have as best chance as possible at double cropping. And the only way to do that would be to basically get ahead of the spring growth by putting the crop in the ground in autumn. Now, let's just real quickly take a look at our weather forecast. Today, again, is mid-autumn. Friday is the last day of autumn. Saturday, Sunday, and Monday is winter. Look at that. Good clear skies. No snow in the forecast for winter. And then you saw the first 2 days of spring, year 4, looked pretty good also. I've already leased the soil sampler, so we're just going to run down here and grab this, and it won't take long at all to sample field 8. So those of you that are playing 3-day seasons on whatever map you're doing a 3-day season map playthrough on, I'll be curious what your all's experience has been. Have you been successful in your 3-day seasons playthrough? How many years have you managed? Oh, the magical collision before the train comes. Have you been successful in your 3-day seasons playthrough with respect to being able to get crop out of the ground before winter comes? With respect to if you're running a seasonal geo that allows double cropping, have you been successful in your double cropping? AI car, you need to wait for the gates to go up. Oh my. So yeah, I'm curious. Curious if my experience here on Griffin, Indiana, with 3-day seasons playthrough has been similar to others' experience, or if it's been kind of atypical. And we had a risk back this summer. We had rain 3-day forecasted, but thankfully it cleared out. We didn't really have true 3 days worth of rain. But it is entirely possible, in theory, that you could miss your entire plant or harvest schedule if you are limited to a single game day. Now, on the subject of trains, it looks like with FS22, we're not going to have trains like we had on Ravenport or Felsburn, where you jump in the train and basically can ride it around the map. It looks more like the trains have been designed like Erlengrad, where they come in from one part of the map and exit from another part of the map. And I wonder if maybe there will be sell points off the map like Erlengrad. You know, I wonder if there will be a Ravenport mill sell point on Elm Creek, or if there will be a Goldcrest Valley sell point on Elm Creek type of a thing, where you load it up with grain and then you can take it down to or ride the train off the map, if you will, and then it asks you if you want to basically sell the grain or not. And it also looks like the days of a free train ride are over. What? It looks like you're going to have to rent or lease the train in order to use it. So it looks like it's going to cost money to be able to use the train on FS22. Now, I'm getting this information from the Gamescon preview build that we've seen some video footage on over the last little bit. There was a person, and I honestly forget the, at this point, forget the channel name, but there was a channel that showed a fair bit of the Gamescon build, and they looked all around the PDA, and one of the icons that was apparent had the text that said something like, you know, train rental, where you would lease or rent the use of the train. And, you know, we don't know if that is for the day, if you lease it for an hour, or what duration that might be. But it seemed that there would be the idea of paying to make use of the train. So if you didn't pay to make use of the train, then you wouldn't be able to drive the train, which meant you wouldn't be able to load the train up with product, and you wouldn't be able to sell grain to a train sell point. I'm curious to know what you all think of that idea. If the idea of paying to use the train is something that you ever thought about doing or would consider doing. What's your first thoughts on that idea? I've thought about it a little bit, and I'm fine with it from the standpoint of, you know, if we want to play realism, okay, then you have the fact that, well, in real life, farmers don't drive trains, right? Farmers don't have access to get into a train and drive it around. Farmers would sell their product to a mill that might make use of a train. And I think that is probably going to do it, so we'll do this one more. They would sell grain to a mill that would make use of a train to sell the product, but they wouldn't necessarily, you know, send them off for sample. Yep. All right, there we go. So they wouldn't drive the train to the sell point. So I like the idea of maybe there being some sort of, let's think of it, you know, usage fee. $1,800. Let's see what type of soil we have. So there's a train usage fee in order to basically make use of that resource. That sounds cool to me. Oh, we got loam and sandy loam down here. All right. So guys, that is going to do us for the day. When we come back for late autumn, we're going to have on tap of liming our field down there, field 8. We'll probably toss some lime on field 32 while we're at it. And then if we have any lime left, we might put some on field 1 till we run out of that load of lime. Then we're going to put some more canola down in the ground because we've got plenty of canola seed. No reason to waste that, and that will be our first crop for our 4th and final year here on Griffin, Indiana. And until next time, happy farming.